All right, number 19, find the product and quotient. So we have two different formulas for this. To find the product, we're going to multiply our r's and add our thetas. To find the quotient, we divide our r's and subtract our thetas. You do need a little common denominator situation, but you can use your calculator as backup if you need to. So the product, we're multiplying. So to do z1 times z2, we multiply our r's and add our thetas. And from here, we just have a little bit of simplification to do. So let's deal with the common denominator situation first. 3 pi over 4 and pi over 3, if we're going to add those, we're going to be in 12th. So 3 pi over 4 is 9 pi over 12. And pi over 3 is 4 pi over 12. And we only have to do that addition once since we have the same terms in both sets of parentheses here. Nine plus 4 is 13 pi over 12. And the last thing to do here is multiply our r's. 2 times 4 is 8. Here's your final answer. Z1 times Z2. Now to divide them, to find the quotient, we divide our r's. So we had 2 and 4, and that order does matter here. It didn't matter with multiplication, but it does with division. If we're doing z1 divided by z2, then we need to do 2 over 4. And the order matters for subtraction as well. So then we need to subtract 3 pi over 4 minus pi over 3. Again, you can do the fractions on your calculator, but I like to do them by hand. 3 pi over 4 was 9 pi over 12. And this time we're subtracting pi over 3, which was 4 pi over 12. So we're going to get 5 pi over 12 in our parentheses. So final answer here, 2 over 4 is 1/2. Cosine of 5 pi over 12 plus I sine of 5 pi over 12. This says the directions here do say leave your solution or leave your answer in polar form. So that's great. That's where we should be. All right, let's do another example. So now we have 2 new Z1 and Z2s, but we're doing the same mathematics. So we're going to multiply. We multiply our r's. And we add our thetas. I like to do the square bracket there. So my work looks a little more organized. And I'm doing everything in order, left to right, like I would if we were doing the quotient. And then I'll make it pretty in the next step. So cosine of 5 pi over 12 plus pi over 9 plus I sine of 5 pi over 12 plus pi over 9. now we need a common denominator again. I'm going to, let's see, 36 is going to be our denominator that works here. For 12, we need to multiply by 3. So it's going to be 15 pi over 36. And to make 9th into 36, I need to multiply by 4. And so that's going to give me, in my parentheses, 19 pi over 36. The only other amount to do here is just to switch my order so 5 radical 2 looks a little prettier. And there's your final answer for the product. Again, the quotient is going to be very similar. We just need to divide and be a little bit careful with our order. So Z1 divided by Z2. So I'm going to do radical 2 over 5. Cosine, I'm going to do 5 pi over 12 minus pi over 9. For both of my answers. Again, we have those common denominators from the last step, or from our product, so we can look at those. We had 15 pi over 36 and 4 pi over 36. And this time, instead of needing common denominators to add, we need them to subtract. So we're going to end up with 11 pi over 36 in our parentheses. And there's your final answer. Product and quotient in polar form.